Am I in focus? I have too many pillows on my bed. Where's the screen? I hope I'm in focus. I'm literally using a telescope to see if I'm in focus. I'm just going to sit here and pray that I am in focus. Notebook, please. Hey everyone, it's Jessie, and today's video is going to be very similar to one of the last videos I did, which was let's talk about love and relationships and first kiss and everything in young adult fiction and just in real life in general and how that's not portrayed realistically. So I got very kind of open in that video. I got a lot of messages and comments that meant so much to me from that video, and from doing that really personal get ready with me chatting video, a lot of people recommended and wanted me to do that again. So here I am gonna do that again, and I haven't got like recommendations for topics, but I had a topic in mind that I kind of wanted to do. So this video is not going to be book related, so if you don't want to watch it, go ahead and leave, but I am going to be talking about education and like modern school system and everything like that. Now, I have gotten a lot of questions over the years because people have seen me traveling and doing things that a normal student in high school wouldn't usually be able to do, so a lot of people kind of wonder, where are you getting educated, like how, what's your story? So I'm going to start from the very beginning. This video is going to be very personal because my educational journey has been quite a rough one. I've dealt with personal health issues, mental illness, lots of things, learning disabilities, so I'm going to start from the beginning, like very beginning of my education from preschool to now. I feel like this hasn't been like a kept secret, but I've never talked about it really before, but this is going to be really personal and kind of stressful for me, so bear with me. I'm going to take my glasses off. I cannot see the camera like at all, so I'm gonna start getting ready. I'll try to mention products that I'm using because I kind of failed to do that in the last video, but without further ado, let's get started in chatting about my education. So the first half of this video, at first I'm priming my eyes, but I'm going to be talking about my educational background, and then in the second half of the video I'm going to be talking about my personal problems with education. And if you guys want to chat in the comments, feel free. Preschool was all fun and games for me, crafts. I loved preschool. Ignore my horrible unfinished makeup, but I forgot to add this in. In preschool, something really funny is that the teachers always thought something was wrong with me and they had to go with me for like potty breaks. We had like potty breaks in preschool, but I had to pee literally every couple of minutes. I don't know why. My bladder must have just been really small, but I also drank so much water. So there's another fun fact about me in preschool. Mrs. pees a lot. Kindergarten was when I really struggled because I have dyslexia and ADD. In preschool and in kindergarten, I wrote my name completely backwards. I recently took a trip to Colorado, and my friend has this old children's book that she took with her when she moved. She used to be my neighbor. We all wrote our names in it, and my name is literally written backwards. Like, I wrote Jessica completely backwards. That's how bad I was at writing and everything. Just wanted to add that, so with that struggle of dyslexia and not being able to write my name properly, it's not for lack of trying. My mom worked with me extra hard when there was STAR testing and stuff coming up in elementary school. I actually tested above in like all the testing somehow because my mom would sit with me every night with a book and study. So she would really help me to learn and try to get this stuff right every night because she wanted me to succeed. I really struggled with reading and all these different things in kindergarten. I couldn't even count to 100. My teacher would pull students aside, I remember, and she had the 100 chart and I could hardly count past 10, and she just got so frustrated. I just kept wondering like what was wrong with me, why couldn't I grasp these things? So I got very chastised at a lot by a bunch of my teachers for not knowing things or not grasping things, which was really difficult on a young child, thinking like what's wrong with me. I specifically remember on the first day of kindergarten, I have a lot of lung issues. Ever since like my whole entire elementary school experience, I took cough medicine daily. I took cherry and grape at night cough syrup, so that's why I severely have a strong distaste for anything flavored cherry or grape, because it just makes me want to gag and vomit because of all that cough medicine I consumed like through my entire life. I remember specifically on the first day of kindergarten, I was having a freaking heart attack. I did not want to go on the first day of kindergarten. I could not stop coughing. I was crying, screaming at the door. Everybody was staring at me. I was like having anxiety, like panic attacks. I literally could not stop coughing. I'm kind of thinking now that a lot of my lung issues might also have to do with anxiety. I'm not sure though. Every time I've gone to the doctor, they just give me an inhaler and say it's my lungs. So I just could not stop coughing to the point where my teacher kicked me out of the classroom, and that happened to me a lot throughout elementary school. It's freaking scary when you're coughing and coughing and coughing and you literally cannot breathe. I avoid getting sick like it's the plague because it is so traumatic traumatizing for me to cough because I just immediately like stop breathing and I start panicking because of all the traumatizing things that happened to me in school. Let's move on to the first grade. I could not read that well still. Every time when we had reading time / nap time in the first grade, everybody would be like moving on to chapter books like Junie B. Jones, and I specifically remember, I wish I knew the name of this picture book, but it wasn't The Hungry Caterpillar, but it did have a caterpillar in it, and it was a picture book of this caterpillar like dancing, and it had very few words, like 5 words per page, very big. I picked up that book and I read the same book every single day almost for like the whole entire first grade because I was too scared and couldn't read anything else. Soon after that, moving on to the 4th grade, I began reading a lot. I loved reading. I read Nancy Drew and Goosebumps. I would get in trouble in the 4th grade. My teacher would yell at me because I was reading under my desk during class, but I still was having difficulty writing, and just a little bit. I was getting a lot better with my dyslexia, but I remember specifically being very traumatized because we had weekly book reports. We had to read at least 1 book a week, I think it was, and we had to write a book report and like do a drawing or project with it. And so that was like my favorite thing about class. I was so excited to do my book reports and drawings because reading and drawing was my favorite thing in the 4th grade. Every week my teacher would pull out a few students' book reports and read them aloud to the class anonymously and like kind of analyze them. I remember almost breaking down crying because I knew he had picked my book report. It was on Sherlock Holmes, and he was reading it out loud, and he was basically like correcting every single line in error, and I was like almost about to cry. I'm almost like crying now because that was so, oh my god, that was literally so traumatizing to me. This isn't even that sad. Why am I crying? Oh my god. Hold on. Ooh, I just felt so stupid in that moment. Okay, Jessica, calm down. It's just an essay. But yeah, I just remember feeling so stupid. Everybody in the class was laughing at my errors, and I didn't want to say or couldn't say or show any of my emotion because I didn't want anybody to know that it was mine. I don't know, I just felt like that was very wrong of the teacher to do. I need a tissue. Okay, I need to learn how to breathe and compose myself, so I will be right back. I'm so sorry. Everything is fine. In general, through childhood, I was kind of overweight. So I was really kind of chubby, but I just remember being very confident in myself. Like my mom said, I was never self-conscious. I would wear anything and I would be so confident. I was super proud. I had gotten these purple silver ripped jeans that had like fabric underneath the rips, and I went to school and there was this girl who to this day, like I know a lot of the girls at the schools, that's why I had to kind of, I'll get to like the dropping out sequence. She called me a slut and I came home crying. So my mom went to go talk to the teacher about it, and that girl's mom went and told the teacher that I was bullying her, when obviously when I was the one that was getting bullied. So yes, I began to eventually start testing out of high school, above high school level reading, and my teachers and everybody was kind of shocked by that from my previous year's performances in reading and all that stuff with dyslexia. I had greatly improved through finding my love for reading and reading a lot, and so reading really helped me greatly. I don't know where I would be without it. So I just remember missing a lot of school. Then in my last year of elementary school in the 5th grade, my teacher literally kicked me out of the classroom for coughing so much, and I just couldn't breathe a lot, and it was a real struggle. Moving on to middle school. I remember liking my first year of middle school. I'd lost some friends. It was really my 2nd year of middle school in the 7th grade. I really began struggling because I missed over 60 plus days of school, I'm pretty sure, and the school was like done with me, like ready, like threatening me, ready to kick me out because I just kept getting sick and sick and sick and couldn't breathe, constantly needing my inhaler. And I had really good grades in middle school. I was getting straight A's and B's, but then I kept missing school and it was so hard for me to catch up. I still had A's and everything, but math was my biggest struggle, and I just kept having mental breakdowns constantly, like crying when I had to do 60 plus extremely hard questions per night. I literally just sat on the edge of my bed and kept breaking down crying trying to do math problems because I really enjoyed doing math, but I started to begin to hate it. Literally wanted to give up because I'm like, what's the point if I'm going into a career field in the future that doesn't involve me doing this? I was just losing a lot of light and a lot of hope after the 7th grade. And then the summer after the 7th grade, I keep forgetting I'm supposed to be doing my makeup, I went on a trip to Europe, and on that trip to Europe I had gained some weight. By some weight, I mean I gained like 15-20 pounds. So that was the year I was 13. That was the year I was suddenly conscious of my body and I was self-conscious. So I began to get really hard on myself and really depressed over a lot of things. And I was just really stressed about going to school, looking so different. And so in the 8th grade, I only went to school for like the first 3 days and I just kept having mental breakdowns and crying in my room, and I told my mom I couldn't do it anymore because I just knew that there were girls at the school that didn't like me and didn't treat me right, and I just didn't like the way that I looked, and I just kept getting sick at public school and couldn't breathe. The biggest thing was that the doctors thought I had got a disease called MRSA because I have pictures of it and it's kind of very scary to look back on. My face was literally bleeding. It was like a cystic acne, but like it was really scary, and I didn't go out in public for months. I was terrified. I was literally in my house, didn't leave, didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to be seen. I was just completely shut in. When I dropped out of middle school, I switched to charter school, and that's where I've been ever since. So charter school started out okay. What the charter school is you have to go to a classroom 3 days a week. You get a packet with 20 assignments per semester per class, and you usually take 1 or 2 classes per time. That started out really good, besides the point that I didn't want to go to class because I didn't want to see new people that I didn't know, and I was just like really nervous. So on the first day when my mom was trying to drive me to class, to this new classroom school I was going to, I just broke down and she had to take me home because I didn't want to be seen. But still, my mom sat with me. She helped me if I needed help, and we worked on my lesson every night. I had to complete 1 lesson a day. So it started out really well. I kept up with that schedule for about a year, but then my mental health was just not at all there, and I was getting really depressed. I had no friends. I felt lost, and so I turned to books. In 2013, that is when I found The Mortal Instruments. Let me just say that book series changed my life. I started talking about books on Instagram, and I found a lot of my bookish friends over the years, and that is when I started to feel a little less lost. But still, over time, I began focusing more on the career path that I wanted to take, of reviewing books and everything in the bookish community over doing my schoolwork. So then I began to fall behind. So over the years, I had fallen very behind, to the point where I'm about a year behind in school. So where I'm at now in my education is that if I wanted to graduate right now, I could. I have all my basic courses to do, like the grade 2 high school graduation requirement. I just have the basic flat out courses I need to graduate. Like I took honors classes and all that stuff, and I have mostly, I think, all straight A's except maybe a B in math, because math. I did really well in all my classes in charter school, but still, I'm at the point where all my friends and everybody is graduating in 2 months in June, and I'm still gonna be in high school. I could be graduated if I wanted to, but my problem is the colleges and schools that I want to go to are kind of really expensive and fancy, and you need all of those grade course requirements, all of the full credits and everything. It was a really difficult decision when I was going to apply to school a few months ago, and I was told I could not apply when I thought I should have been graduating.
So the reason that this was extra heartbreaking was because I had my heart set for a really long time on this one specific school, and so we were talking to the admissions lady who was in charge of like all the admissions for the school for the state of California, and she appeared to really like me. She was sweet as could be, helped me out in every way possible, and even got me a spot in their fully booked open house. And so I flew all the way across the United States to go visit this school. I fell in love. The city soon became my favorite city in the entire world, and I've traveled a ton of places, and that school just felt like home to me, and it felt right, and it felt like the place where I needed to go and I needed to be. And then suddenly I was told that despite loving it there and talking to the admissions lady, getting to know her really well, hitting it off, my heart was broken when I found out that I didn't have enough credits to apply. My path basically changed to being unsure of everything.
So pretty much within the last, I'm gonna start crying again. So pretty much my whole entire goals and life plans changed. Right now where I'm at is I'm as lost could be. A lot of days are harder than others, and I don't have motivation to work on anything really when I feel like I'm an idiot and I'm stupid for not graduating on time. This is kind of why I've never spoken openly about my school and struggles, because it's very personal and difficult. Oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna edit this video. I can't even do my makeup. Okay, hi, I'm back. I had to take an hour-long break because for some reason the first half of filming that video was very stressful on me, and I just uploaded that footage and edited it all, and I was like crying the whole time editing it. I just wanted to say that this video, since it was really difficult, I did not finish my makeup. I won't be finishing my makeup in the video. Just wanted to throw that in there because I'm just talking for the rest of the video. Also, there is a ton more things that I didn't share because there are things that are way too personal that I've like told nobody. So that being said, I just wanted to throw out that don't judge people too harshly. There are people on the internet that look or seem like they have everything, but you never ever know what a person is actually going through, because I feel like social media is a place where people only share and show the best of themselves. So that is why I kind of have enjoyed making these videos, because they are personal and they kind of show other people that their struggles, they're not the only ones and they're not alone. But I think I finally composed myself and I'm ready to get through the rest of this video. Yes, as of right now, I am very unsure of what my future holds because I've been dreaming for so long of going to my dream college and studying film and writing. It's just really heartbreaking when you've had something in mind and it can't happen when it's expected to, and when you have all this family pressure to go to college. And I just wanted to add in there that it's not just family pressure about going to college, it's societal pressure too, because everybody's expected to go to college. It's again like I was talking about in the romance video, like there's a set timeline that it's expected to follow, but you don't have to follow that timeline. I know I want and will go to college. It's just not happening when I expected it to, and that's okay. I've had to learn that, and it's just difficult when all your friends, also that pressure of all your friends getting accepted to their top colleges and going away, and you're just like stuck. I just am stuck feeling hopeless now with having so many courses to do in such a limited amount of time. It feels literally impossible. If there's anybody struggling with going through anything similar, I think it's very difficult for me to have learned this lesson, but I think that no matter how you get through your education, as long as you get through it, I think I always know no matter how long it takes me to finish high school, I know I still want to go to college and hopefully I can make it there. I think maybe I might want to talk about my issues with education. I only have a few, but my number one thing I want to talk about is PE. So when I was in the first grade, I had the worst bone break that the doctors had seen. I was riding a bike for the first time and it was raining and I was racing my neighbor and I crashed and I broke through both of my bones, and my hand was this is kind of descriptive and gross, so I would skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want to hear, but my hand was basically hanging off of my wrist. It took a long time to heal, but my wrist has kind of never been the same because of that, and I've also fractured that left wrist twice, and I've also fractured my right wrist. So if I ever break this arm again, I will have to get metal plating in it. So that being said, I have never in my life really been able to do the pull-up test, the push-up test, any of the phys ed tests, or I forget what it's called, but the physical testing in PE. I was always so embarrassed and horrified. I didn't want to be weighed by the teacher. I wasn't able to do the push-up test. I couldn't even do one push-up. I never was able to lift my body weight since I was kind of heavy, especially with my broken wrist that literally was just excruciating pain. And I tried getting doctor notes and all these things, and also with my lungs I was not able to do the pacer test at all. I feel like it's really degrading to some children. I know some have health issues, some are unable to do some of these things, and it may just be the way that their bodies are built because everybody's bodies are different, but I just feel like sometimes it's unfair to put young minds through these tests that kind of can damage their ways of seeing themselves if they feel inferior to other people who can do like 80 push-ups. Those tests really, I would always cry over PE and doing those tests because I could never do it. Especially in middle school when we had to run the mile. It was always fun to like run a mile with your friends around the field, but I could never do that because I couldn't breathe and my heart would really start hurting. I would always get so mad and frustrated when I was running with a friend, but they would finally have to give up on me and run ahead without me. And I had never in my life gotten a mile time under around 13 minutes, and I would always to be the last one in the class and everybody would be waiting for me and it would just be embarrassing. Obviously PE is like the easiest class to get an A in, but I never did. I would get like an A or B. I don't know. I felt like I was at an unfair advantage in PE. I remember being so proud in middle school. I had never beaten the smile time. I had gotten like flat out like 9 minutes, and I literally, when I got in my parents' car when they picked me up from middle school, I was like crying. I was so happy, and it wasn't a big deal to anybody else, but it was such a big deal to me because I was never able to go that distance that fast. I just feel like PE could be taught a little differently or have more privacy, because that really put a damper on my mental health, thinking how unsuperior I was to everybody else. I just felt damaged constantly not being able to do what everybody else could.
And it was rough when you felt like you were working way harder than everybody else because you had your own issues, yet you still came in last. So if you went or are going through anything similar, I feel you.
I mean, I physically was damaged too. I hurt myself in a lot of ways. Now, in high school, there's one thing that really irks me and that I do not believe in, which is the SAT and ACT. I am so happy that things are changing and that a lot of colleges are now test optional, because I feel like a lot of people may have anxiety, they may have test anxiety and they don't know it. They may have other learning disabilities like dyslexia. I did not know about this at the time when I took the ACT, that you can get time and a half. If you do have a doctor's note and disability, you can apply for that, which I did not know. I could have gotten that, but I didn't. But still, I think it's kind of impossible to tell somebody's strengths and potential from taking a test where you only have like 26 seconds per freaking question. Me, myself, I may be an avid reader, I may be perfectly fantastic at analyzing things. I've been testing out and above of high school level reading and college level since like the 4th grade, and still I am a extremely slow reader. So taking a test that has this limited amount of seconds for you to answer, like read and analyze these questions, yeah, it's teaching you to work fast, but that really doesn't show my full thinking potential. Some people may disagree, but that is just my feeling on the SAT, ACT. But I took it once and I was like, nope, I'm done. I don't want to take that again. I took it 3 times to practice, then I took the like final one where I got that score. Luckily, all the schools I want to go to is test optional. That is my feelings on that. I'm really happy that times are changing and a lot of schools are realizing that those tests don't show students' potential, that a lot of them are becoming test optional, and that makes me really happy.
I was just almost done editing and my friend Michelle texted me and she's like, have you ever seen the New Yorker cartoon about the standardized testing and all the animals being told to climb the tree, and as the final there's like a goldfish sitting there? That's exactly how the educational system is like. It's tailored towards a broad audience and we are all so unique that... Are you kidding me? Dogs, be quiet. I'm trying to be inspirational. So rude. You're making me lose my train of thought. Anyways, just thought I would throw that in there because thanks, Michelle, that is accurate and that is exactly how I feel about the educational system. Okay.
Another thing is just math. Now, a lot of people may get mad at me about this because I know a lot of people say that math is important. I love math. I do love math. But there just comes a point where these squiggly lines and things, like, I'm not going to NASA. All I need to know is my simple baking, conversions, all that kind of stuff. Like, teach me how to do taxes. Teach me how to do things that really matter besides these complicated equations that I'm at the point where I've been told I have to take like a year more of math and I'm just having mental breakdowns. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why? Like, it just feels so useless. Don't get me wrong, I've probably sounded so ungrateful about my education during this entire video. I am very grateful for the life that I have and the education that I have, because I know many people around the world do not get to have an education. I would love greatly to be in college next year and studying what I want to learn, but math is not what I want to learn, and it's just so hard for me to focus on something that I don't want to learn and isn't my passion. I would rather be learning about history. I love history, art, writing, publishing, filmmaking. Like, those are the things I want to specialize in learning in college. And there's just these things that are holding me back from getting there that I'm trying to get through, but it's just so hard. Feeling so stupid when you just keep failing at these problems over and over. There are many problems with the educational system that I feel aren't gravitated more towards students' needs. I feel like a lot of students need more one-on-one time with a teacher. Like, like I know I most definitely do need and would need with math. Learning math from a textbook by yourself is really difficult, as it turns out. I've been teaching myself these things for years and it's just really hard. So teaching yourself things over the past few years is really difficult, but I'm hoping to get through it soon. And one of my friends texted me something recently that really meant a lot. She was just like, it's not about the process of working hard or getting your education and getting there, it's about the journey of life and enjoying it, but also working hard. I don't remember what she said, but it really meant a lot to me, and I just know that my experience with education, because I know with the educational path that I took and chose, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have met so many amazing people in my life. I wouldn't have made my best friends. I wouldn't have met my best friends. I wouldn't have interviewed authors. I wouldn't have gone to movie premieres. I wouldn't have traveled around the world, gone to book conventions. That is the highlight and positive side of the path that I took, and I would not change it for the world, even though there are things that I feel like I missed out on. I have felt so depressed over the past few years because I've never been to a real high school, and it's these last final months and there's prom coming up where I have to go to a school that I don't even go to go to prom because I don't have a prom. And it's just all these things that I feel like I've missed out on, and like, what am I gonna tell my children someday? I never had these experiences. I can't read a young adult novel about high school because I just don't feel like it's realistic because I never went and I don't know what high school is like. So there's just those small regrets that I will always have that always hinder me and make me feel left out from everybody else. I've always been made fun of for going charter school. All my friends say, oh, you get to sleep in, you don't get to do as much work, which is not true. I have to do the work. I just have to do it by myself. I don't have anybody teaching me. I'm teaching myself. I am working on things that I love to do. They just don't see it. I just lost my entire train of thought. Anyways, wow, this video has been very scattered, and I apologize. I did not plan out any notes or anything for this video except like 1 or 2 lines. This video was like completely unscripted. I mean, all of my videos are. I'm just terrible at remembering things. One more thing I think the educational system in America should do is teach language earlier, because I just took psychology and it talked about how it's more difficult to learn a language when you're older in age rather than when you're a child. Like in other countries, they teach language when you're a child, and like when I went to Switzerland, all my Swiss cousins in the family spoke like 5 languages, and I'm here struggling to learn Spanish. That's my pretty much last educational pinpoint thing that I think would be awesome to be changed. Anyways, I want to end this video on a positive note because I feel like there was like a bunch of unplanned crying and sadness and confusion throughout this video. I'm very grateful for the educational path that I have taken, even though I may be like the most stressed I ever have been in my life right now because I don't know what my future holds, but I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've had that I never would have had if I had gone to a public high school. With that being said, keep on pushing through, do your best, work as hard as you possibly can, get that work done, because the end result will be so worth it, and you will look back, I hope to look back on this video someday and be like, wow, I hope I made myself proud. I love you all. I know this video is very personal, and like I said earlier, not a lot of people's negative, and not negative, but not a lot of people's personal sides are openly showed on social media because everybody tries to portray their best side. So I've been wanting to open up a little bit more recently because I feel like it's difficult for me to get to know you guys, to post videos on my channel when I feel like you don't know me or no background about me. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I apologize that this isn't book related, but if you have any topic discussion suggestions for a future video that probably won't make me cry, leave them down below. I keep saying it, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. Bye! Oh, I didn't do my outro correct. I say I'm Jessie, and I will see you next time. Bye! Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Insert name here.